right, so I got my new master cylinder. New master cylinder is in, and everything is reattached. It was interesting because I feel like it had a shorter distance to where the plunger would start hitting. So what I did is I shortened it by probably a 1/2 or 3/4 of a centimeter in terms of the plunger being in, and then I was able to tighten that down. And then what I found, I bled the brakes, and I thought I had bled them just fine, and it still felt spongy. But what I realized is I had not adjusted the brakes to be tight tolerance from the brake shoe to the drum on this left front tire, so that was absorbing all the liquid to get that to press. And now I have the whole thing, I believe, so it goes from here to here. That gives me full resistance, and I still have, you know, 10 centimeters behind the pedal, so that's good. Yeah, I have that dimmer switch is connected, and horn connected here. And what I'm working on right now, you can see that I have it jacked way up. That's because I've taken the engine off the stand, and I had to tilt the motor to get it under because I don't have a removable rear apron. So I had to tilt it, and now I have it here and kind of under with my jacking up the back side. And then I have kind of some clearance issues here with the, you know, I'm gonna have to scoot this thing, probably tilt it a little bit, and see if I can get the get this to clear my generator. So I'm just gonna set the camera up here and do just a little finagling and see if I can even get this thing to, you know, I might catch a absolute disaster on camera here, but I'm gonna just take this, I'm gonna go down about 2 inches. See what I hit. So far the clutch seems to be okay. It's really the generator, and I may have to do a little move where I tilt the engine up like this. I'll go down another almost inch. See what hits. The clutch. Yeah, this is gonna hit here, so, but I'm gonna go down just about another 2 centimeters. And then see what I've got. So here, you see that's gonna hit, and that clearance there is, you know, pretty tight. So really what I just have to do is make the generator clear, and then I might be able to do that just by leaning it. If I lean it, and then I set something underneath it, like a, well, if I had a little piece of wood or something, I could set it underneath. I do have a metal L iron here that I'll try to set. See if I can lean it using this. So if you look here, I use this L iron to lean it forward a little bit. And look here at my flap. And then I have that barely clearing back there. So let's see, I'm gonna lower it another, let's see, just a fraction here. I can look, watch the tire. Just lower it a fraction and then take a look. So here, that's actually gonna clear now. And here as well. I mean, that's really tight. Can actually lean it just a little bit more. All right, let's see. I'll get this rubber. So I'm not hearing anything scraping back there. So it would seem like that is clearing okay. I just want to make sure that I don't drop it on the main shaft. But what I need to do is go down another inch so that I can pull this motor back this way a little bit. See if that works. All right, so what I did is I took off the 2 air tubes because I was starting to damage this one. I think I can still recover this because it's not broken or anything. It just got a little bit munched up, and then that way it just has to clear these 2 pipes here for the shroud. And then if I look back here, I can see that I've got like, you know, 3 or 4 inches probably that I can move this, and I need this guy to clear it. I have got it at an angle right now, so I'm gonna lower this by about an inch or 2 and see what happens. Let's see, make sure I don't do something stupid here. All right, I lowered this a little bit. So this rubber, all right, so it's sitting on the ground now. So the one question I have is this gonna work with my voltage regulator there? Because I gotta put my intake manifolds on there. I'm not 100% sure. I may have to just take that out. But it's a very convenient location if it works, and similar to the bus. So now what I wanna do is I need to get the jack underneath this motor. I'm also hoping that this bus exhaust actually fits. There's a chance that it won't like that, but the cutout is right in the right location, so hopefully that'll work fine. All the surprises. So what I need to do now is swap out the rolly stand for the jack and see what happens. Okay, making progress, but I wanted to show the things that I had to do. Number 1, my breather line here wouldn't clear my new back right quarter, this little hanging thing, so I had to take off this, which is great because then it leaks oil everywhere. Now I'm seeing that my spring will not clear my fan shroud. So that sucks. I'm gonna have to take the spring off, which then, how am I gonna, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's possible to take a screwdriver and kind of lift this, but I don't think so. As I scoot that in, I'll see. But if I look, yeah, so I don't know what I'm gonna do about this spring there not clearing. But if I look underneath, let's see, my light, there's this not clearing. And then I look underneath how these studs and everything are lining up. It actually looks like the stud is in the right spot. So it looks like it needs to go back about an inch. This is my precarious situation. Not the best, but let's see if I can just get this slid back 1 inch. I think that's all it needs. Well, I got the spring off. That's gonna be let's see, I think that's pretty much in. So what I'm noticing when I turn it is it might be the clearancing. So as I tighten this, I'm gonna keep turning it because there's additional clearancing of that magnesium bell housing. So let's see if I can actually get the bolts on underneath. So I have these guys here. I've got the kind with the little plastic seal. Let's see if I can actually, let me get rid of some of this metal shards here before I lie down on it. Oh. A bit of a pain in the ass, huh? So, there's a broom. So, I'm gonna just see if I can get these on there, and then I have a 17 wrench. So let's take a look where these bolts go. See if we can even see it. So it goes up under the inside here. Let's see. Yeah, I see them. Oops. I see him. Let's get the... So, this one goes here. I can get my hand in there. Let's see. All right, that's in. Now let's get the second one on. Let's see, I can turn it until it hits the plastic part of this nut. And then this one here, put it right here. That one, a little bit more difficult to turn by hand. Then let me grab this big fat wrench, my 17, and I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this down. I have no idea. Actually, I should get my box 17. It's gonna be better because of this lip. I'm gonna get the box 17. Or let's see, is this a 17? Maybe even this one's a 17. Yeah, no, that's not gonna fit. Let me get the box 17. All right, I'm back with the box 17. So, this guy here. So, I was just gonna start tightening this down. One man. It caused me a problem. So let's open this up a little bit. And let's go clearance it. Okay. Okay. Okay, well, motor's in there. Let's see about the clearance. So, it is not totally clear. So, you know, I'm gonna slowly tighten it, and then I'm gonna keep wrenching this thing around so that it makes sure that that it clears. Some people will do it with the starter, but I need to keep working on this. Okay, so I got the last bolt in, which is this one back here. So that's the one with the D shape right by the starter. So this motor is in. Now the thing that's interesting about it is that, as again, I was worried about the clearance inside the bell housing. So I did this one time before on the bus, and once I had tightened it down, flywheel just wouldn't turn at all. So what I'm finding now is it turns great, and then on a couple of spots you'll hear that magnesium grind. See, there, it's fine. Now listen closely here. Hear that? I have to wait for the compression even out, and then listen. Okay, nothing there. Listen to this one. Right there. But, hear that? The good news is, that is nothing. That steel is gonna rip right through the magnesium, and it's turning just great. So, I have no worries about that. Let's just see how it closes. Again, I have to remount that spring, which got in the way. I got my wires in the way here too. There's a couple of things I have to check. I have to check the location of this voltage regulator. I have to reinstall a bunch of stuff in terms of my carbs and all that, but let's just see how the deck lid closes. Oh, perfect. No issue whatsoever. And how does that exhaust look? So that exhaust looks fine, and it's gonna be under this bumper, which is gonna come around like this. If you look at the contour of this, and it's kind of where the cutout is. So, you know, that's a split bus bumper. I mean, sorry, a split bus exhaust. And I'm not shelling out another $700 or $800 for one that fits out the back of the Beetle. So this is great. That's really good progress today to get the motor installed. So I would love to, you know, see how the rest of this stuff all comes together in terms of, you know, I gotta do all the wiring, wire up the voltage regulator, or move it if that is not gonna work. You know, I can probably see right now whether that would work just by holding the carb manifold in there. Let's put my makeshift deck lid holder here again. See if I can do this without messing everything up. And then, it's unbelievable what you have to do sometimes. I had to take this Dremel cutter, and then where I replaced this quarter panel, you can see right here, there's a lip. And the lip, look at this right here. This is where the bail goes for the valve cover, and it's a little bit wide. And I had to basically Dremel cut from here all the way across to here in order for that lip to clear. And on the other side, it doesn't have that lip, but you know, you can see here, that's what this is where the new one is. Starting right here where these welds are, is where the new one is. The old one, I didn't really clean that up well, but hey, it is what it is under here. But now, to get this breather tube back connected was such a huge pain in the ass, but I got it connected. I think I got the gasket in the right place. So that's step one. I'm basically trying to get the motor back into the condition it was in before I installed it, and kind of mangled it all up. Plus the spring on the deck lid door is now off, and I have to figure out how to put that on. So to reattach everything, I've got to move this voltage regulator, probably move it inside next to the battery, and then wire that up through where the battery cable goes through. And then I've got to, I've got to reconnect my carbs. I've got to figure out how to get this rubber on flaps on to both sides. Right now it's just on top, so maybe I can do that. This rubber basically came out of the little channel, so I'm gonna have to, you know, put this all back in. That goes in pretty easily on this side, but you know, once you can't reach the underside of it, it's definitely more of a hassle. All right, well, I'll keep plugging away here. Oh, I can reconnect this one here. This one was disconnected during the, oh boy, disconnected during the install of the motor. So just as long as if I don't do it when I think of it, then I'll probably forget it. But so I got to put on the, you know, I think the next step is basically voltage regulator and wiring first, just to make sure that I can get all that in and done. So, you know, I got all these wires need to go to the voltage regulator and then come back out to the generator and everything. And then once I get that voltage regulator in somewhere over there, I've got to get my carbs back reinstalled, my air hoses reinstalled, my spark plugs reinstalled, and my fuel lines. Then I can move on. Okay, I've got a little bit of progress here. So I got the seal for the fuel tank. So that is like a good sticker that goes around the whole perimeter. And I have my clamp downs for the fuel tank. Now before I can put in the fuel tank, what I'm doing is basically I have the fuel tank, and then now coming out of that is a 6AN fitting, and this fitting misses the tunnel, which is good, and it holds a solenoid. So the solenoid then comes in, I believe that's like a, what is that, a 3/8, whatever this fitting is here. So what I'm trying to do right now, and I went ahead and I put the spades on here, and I have two electrical devices that are going to be running down here. So I ran ground and 12 volt to run both of those devices. They go through these areas here where the grommets are and come out here, and then the grounds are connecting to up to here, and the 12 volts will go to switched 12 volt power from the ignition. So, but before I can do that, what I've got to do is hook up this fuel line. Basically it comes out of the fuel tank through the solenoid. Solenoid winds up dumping it out right about here. So I need a, I believe that's what is a 3/8 NPT or something like that, that needs to come down. I'm not sure if it can be just an elbow, but maybe it can be an elbow, go down. Then it's going to go into the electric fuel pump here in the inside. So from the solenoid to the in here, and this is going to be somehow affixed to this bottom part here. I'll drill a couple holes, and then it has to come through this, which is the pressure regulator, which is set right on 3 pounds, and that's great. So this then has to come back around and go into here. So tomorrow I'm gonna go to the auto parts store in Lowe's and get some fittings. The first fitting is an elbow down from here. I think a right angle elbow down. That's gonna then go out of the solenoid and into the fuel pump. So if you think of it, it's going to be right here. I suppose it could go down and around here, but I'm probably going to need a hard line elbow. So I might be able to just hard line elbow it up to here and then have a straightaway. Anyway, it's going to go from the fuel pump. Then I'm going to need a hard line kind of elbow that comes up around, and then that's going to go into this, which is my fuel pressure regulator, and somehow this is going to go like this in here somehow, and that's going to then be, maybe I'll take a L iron and make a mount plate here. So that, and then I got to wire it up here. So I've got these wires here already zip tied a little bit, and this will come down here. So there's that. That's the first step. Before I can put my fuel tank in. Next thing I did. So this was a kind of a big production, but I got the motor in. I still have to reinstall, but I had to take out the putting the voltage regulator over there like I have it in the bus was not doable. So there wasn't really a place inside the inside here to put that. I suppose I probably could have tried to put it on top of the shroud. Some people do that, or up here might have also been a possibility. But since I have my carbs that still have to go in there with the linkage and all that stuff, and that's all coming right across here. So, you know, it might have been possible to basically have another thing over here where the voltage regulator is. Maybe that is the best idea, but you know, I welded in the plate for this one, so I think I'm just going to leave it how I've got it right now, which is to mount it on the inside here over by the battery. So I put it there, and then I've been looking at this to see if it's going to interfere with the seat. I got to Google how this fits. It's right about the same level as the top of the battery, and I think that would miss the seat, but I just have to look and see how the seat goes on there. Again, I could wire it up, and then if there's anything wrong and I need to shift it down a little bit, I just can bump it down. So that's the new location of my voltage regulator. I'm going to run the wires through right there where the red battery wire comes through, and that's got to have, I believe there's 5 wires, so 2 red ones for that top, then the DF and D+, and then there's 1 more. So 5 wires have to somehow make it through additionally through this grommet, and that'll give me my voltage regulator. I've got to go buy some wire. But I'm happy about finally getting the motor in, and I've got to deal with a bunch of issues that I caused in installing it, like the rubber. The flaps are both on the top, and I've got to put 1 flap down below. But it's nicely, at least it's nicely fitted, and the deck lid closes well, although I have to deal with the spring. The spring hit the fan shroud and I had to take it off. So, but as a next step, I can connect the back fuel line, which I've got a braided German fuel line. I can connect that with some clamps. I've got to connect my throttle cable and pull the throttle cable through my little rolly thing. So sometimes the little fat nub can get hung up on this, and I gotta make sure the Bowden tubes line up correctly. So there's the throttle cable. The clutch seems to be, you know, good and adjusted pretty well. When I press on the clutch, there's nothing from here to here, so that's like 3/4 of an inch. Then it engages, and it's firm because that's a Kennedy Stage 1 clutch. So hopefully that'll not have a problem with that crossbar that I've got in there, because Kennedy Stage 1's not that strong in terms of the resistance. And then my brakes, that's great. So it's really a matter of getting this throttle connected. Then all my pedals will be connected, plus I have my bright switch. So stuff is sort of coming together. Can clean the sticky stuff off of my my little muffler here, but this the other thing, I have my full flow oil, but I am gonna have to redo the lengths of 8AN cable, and I think I have a bunch of steel braided cable and the fittings to make new longer cables. But basically what I'm gonna have to do is mount this guy up in here, just in the right location, and then I'm gonna have to make 2 longer lines, and the lines have to definitely miss the hot muffler. So, all right, that is my progress. I mean, I have so many things that I can do right now that I just have to decide on one. And so what I've decided is my next step is first the installation of my electric fuel pump with the fuel pressure regulator and here, and wiring that up, getting these wires kind of clamped out of the way, and then putting in my fuel tank. So that has to go in that order because I have to do the fuel related stuff first, and then I can put my fuel tank in. Then I have my clamp downs on that. So that'll give me the fuel tank in place, and then I can start hooking up things like my fuel gauge, and you know, I could even put gas in there. You know, I should probably put my cotter pins into these, into here, my safety ones. I have one that doesn't have the crown nut, which I might just drill a little mini hole in and go ahead and stick a cotter pin in there as well. But this all looks pretty good. So yeah, that's the first step, is fuel pump and fuel pressure regulator coming out of the fuel tank and getting the fuel tank in. Second step is wiring the voltage regulator by extending these wires here. I'm gonna have to patch in a longer wire from here and extend this, as well as the other wires here for the voltage regulator, and extend that, go out the little hole here, and then actually I might go out the right hand one, because that's where the voltage regulator on the right hand side, and then I have to come back in with some of the other wires that go onto the generator. So that's the progress, and